Good morning. Let's get back to basics. Okay. So, a comfortable posture, if you haven't already assumed one, most likely that means sitting on a chair or maybe cross-legged on a cushion or folded up blanket or your bed or something along these lines, your sofa. That's what I'm doing. And I recommend that you put something on in the back of your body, underneath your spinal column, the rear of your sits bones, closest to your coccyx vertebrae, so that you are raised up a little bit, a few inches, so that you're at least as level with your knees, or maybe even a couple of inches higher than your knees. And so this is what we call an upright posture. And assuming this posture, it's a relaxing posture because the spinal cord is made up of all the vertebrae. And when you're sitting upright, the vertebrae sit inside of each other. They can nestle in the one beneath it. And so from your neck down through your hips into your sacrum, you have this more restful posture. If you lean to one side or the other, try it. Lean back and forth or one side to the other and see how this changes the dynamic of what we're doing. You will notice that it does. So we're sitting upright in a vertical posture, attentive to what we are doing because Zoran's asking you to take a look at all these different things. So out of courtesy, you're doing that. And all of a sudden, there's a whole world that we're not usually thinking about that's becoming more clear to us. And that's a good thing because we're a bundle of miracles. We're investigating that. You might find in this sensitivity to oneself, your tongue is attached to the roof of your mouth, and that's a good spot for it to be behind the front teeth. In this position, it's out of the way, and we're not thinking about it. I prefer eyes closed, but some people like to have their eyes open, and that's quite all right. Perhaps indistinctly and unfocused would be the terms that I would use for utilization of your sense of vision at this point. Close, I think, better. And in an environment where we can be focused on what we're talking about and what we're thinking about rather than the possibility of being distracted by other things that are occurring, undisturbed. What other things might we think about with our posture? Let's take a moment and reflect. Another good idea is once you've assumed this posture to raise your shoulders up and gently press your shoulder blades back. By doing so, your lungs are allowed to expand a little bit more. You're allowing it to open up. And so this is oftentimes a recommended step in one's assumption of a comfortable posture. So doing this, and then relax your hands on your sides or possibly nestled together in your lap. I like to put my fingertips together, one hand to the other, as a means of just being aware of the feeling in these very important components of our physicality, right? Our hands are crucially important to ourselves and have been crucial as well to the evolution of our species because the dexterity in our hands gives us so many capabilities that other animals don't share. Animals, you like that? He's got a lot of nerve to say that we're an animal. Maybe. Maybe I'm just talking about the truth. Back to our experiences. We're comfortable and we're able to focus our minds on what we want to now. We've been talking about our body, paying attention to our ears. What do you hear besides my voice? Focusing on any sounds or the potential of sound. And what I'm driving at is that there's a certain ambiance of non-sound, which is what I like to refer to as a sense of the universe, a sense of the universal energy that is engulfing us, cascading from one moment to the next in everything. Everything has energy in it. The air that we're breathing, the oxygen, the carbon dioxide, the nitrogen, the different gases that are making up, or the elements of our atmosphere, are energetic, just like you and I are. Well, there's something going on there. And there's an ambiance of the planet that we live on, the surface and the depths. There's movement that's occurring always. And so, again, vibrations are echoing out of the earth into the air and into the waters that compose around 70% of the surface of our planet is a state of constant motion, of waves, of these kinds of actions. And again, is there a sound created when you go to the beach and you, on a stormy day, are paying attention to the sound? Of course. Even if it's a calm day and we go and we listen, there's a lapping of the waves as they come ashore. Oh, the animals, the birds, the insects, even the plants, everything is emanating some kind of a vibration. And so this is what I'm suggesting to you to just be open-minded about. Do you feel a presence or a potential in your auditory nerves, in your mind? Interesting question. Getting back to our fingers and our hands and our knees and our thighs and our buttocks, all of these different places that we feel are feeling more, maybe a little more intently, because I'm bringing them into our minds with my suggestions. What are we feeling here? What are we universally feeling here? Well, we're feeling the texture of our skins, of course. What else are we feeling? We're feeling a sense of warmth, yes? And why is that so? Because the organs of our lungs and of our heart, there's movement. There's muscular movement. Our diaphragm pushes in and out or up and down. There's movement there as we breathe. Every moment there's a inhale and a pause and an exhale and a pause. And we can feel that there's a dynamic. There's a bellows-like process going on. And in our hearts are pumping this fluid we call blood throughout our body. And this is happening even more frequently than we breathe, about 6 times more often. So we breathe 15 or 20,000 times a day, and our heart squeezes the oxygenated blood through our heart and into our vascular system about every moment, so about 60 times a minute. Well, there's a lot of activity. This generates thermal heat. And so we feel a sense of warmth. If you feel it in your hands, in your fingertips, or in your palms, if you have your hands pressed together, or you feel it wherever your body is touching itself or touching something else. Maybe you feel it in your buttocks, or you feel it in your lower arms, in your forearms, if you have your forearms touching your thighs. You can feel it everywhere, in fact, if you just pay attention. And if you don't, this is a good thing to practice, to become more familiar with one's basic anatomy and one's physiology, that these things are happening all the time. Further, it's a good thing to be appreciative of, because this is a gift, life. No one owed you or I an opportunity to be alive. It's a gift. Little things like this that when you add them up together, it creates a circumstance and an opportunity for one's own change, for one's own view, one's own philosophy of what's going on. As each moment etches itself into history, then it's a different song that's being played. This is self-realization. This is the process of self-illumination. This is the opportunity to have a self-revelation about oneself. This is why people participate and practice in the meditation arts, if we can call it this, or in mindfulness exercise. This is in my opinion, this is the purpose. Oh, we've come already full circle to being aware of our bodies, comfortably postured, becoming aware of what these processes of respiration and circulation have brought us to be considering today. All of this, when one has a perspective of being outside of oneself for a moment and looking at yourself, what do you see? Two-legged creature with a torso and a head and two arms, doing all these miraculous things to maintain us life. It's really awe-inspiring to think of what we are just now, present, without thinking about the past or thinking about the potential of a future. It's even in this moment to have this opportunity to investigate and come to a better understanding of what we represent is awe, it's reverence, it's amazement at ourselves. Finding this in one's own evaluation of oneself. You and I are bundles of miracles. We haven't even started. In a sense, we're just at the beginning of a meditative or mindfulness experience and already discovered something incredible, something that's unique in this entirety of creation, Homo sapiens, from this planet, in this solar system, in this galaxy, as part of creation as we know it, bundles of miracles, humbling, considering the perspective that we're sharing of this immensity of creation, and taking one step further and being appreciative of having this opportunity to be aware, to be alive in this time, in this place, with the bodies that we share, is really an incredible thing. I'm going to call it a podcast right now because we've already got quite a bit of time in. We'll continue from here. Namaste.